The Democratic National Committee filed a lawsuit this
Yeah.
week against the world, right?
Yeah.
Against the Trump campaign, against Russia, against WikiLeaks, because of the hacks of the DNC,
Right.
of which they say did immeasurable damage to not only to the DNC but to the country. What do you think of this lawsuit? How sound is it? What are the chances are? What's it going to mean?
Well,
Is it serious?
Yes, very serious. There's some questions of inside the party. Obviously as you recall, there were some very sore feelings after 2016. A lot of hurt feelings with Comey, for instance.
Yeah.
And there's that showdown. Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the other Democrats had grilled him in a private briefing, saying, why didn't you come to Wasserman DWS directly? If this is, that the Russians have broken into one of the two major parties in the United States of America and stolen X number of emails. Why would you let this sit with a low-level IT contractor? There's still sore feelings about how Barack Obama handled it. They didn't.
Yeah.
It took the election and the presumption of Clinton winning, that evaporating.
But they didn't sue Barack Obama.
No, they did not. That's right. That's right.
But I mean, for the party to engage lawyers and really to do all this research, I mean, it's going to take a lot of resources. Some of the Democrats that I've talked to say, what's the party? Why did it take so long? Why did they wait so long?
Yes.
And also, isn't this going to deflect from what they ought to be focusing on this year, which is winning the midterm elections?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, that's a good question, though. And, the other thing I think about, too, is the DNC in comparison of the RNC. Because the DNC is not the juggernaut that it used to be. Some of that's, leftovers from the Obama era, where he kind of created that parallel party structure after the 2008 primaries. Some sore feelings out of that, too. So I think there was a big staff. Wasn't there a big staff shakeup over at the DNC a couple months ago?
They have a new executive director. I don't know what that was all about. But.
Yeah. It's not quite the same thing as the RNC. The RNC is a little more integral to Republican Party politics when we're thinking of comparisons on this. But think back to the DNC convention in Philly. I mean, remember all the Sanders delegates who were just irate. People,
Well,
I remember, and people were angry at Sanders when he let it go on. I think what was it, that Thursday, when he said that he would support Hillary Clinton and he would ask all of his delegates. I mean, it was there was almost a sense of despair.
Well, they're angry because the emails proved, or the hacked emails, right, proved that what Bernie had been claiming all along was true.
Yeah.
That the staff of the DNC under Debbie Wasserman Schultz was trying to tilt the election, the primary, to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
They were helping raise money for her. They were in cahoots. The whole thing. And at the same time trying to do anything they could to undermine Bernie Sanders. Bernie was saying that. Nobody believed him. I believed him.
Yeah.
And then the emails come out and say, oops, boy, that's exactly what they were doing. But that's kind of off the point of what I was asking about, which is whether or not this lawsuit is because there's the Mueller investigation going on. Okay, you've been reporting on that. Now, instead of waiting for the Mueller investigation to conclude, and maybe it takes some action, the DNC has said, no, we're going to have our own lawsuit on some of the same issues. And I guess first, some judge has to say, okay, this lawsuit has legitimacy. It can go forward. If it does, then they get into discovery.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they can call in, I don't know, Assange or people from the Trump campaign to say exactly what was your role here.
So when I checked with them on this, when was this, Friday when they filed it? I have a hard time remembering days anymore in this administration.
It was 15 years ago. Yes,
yeah.
Friday.
No, it feels like 15 years ago. And what they told me, what the DNC says, a couple of things. So on logistics, I'm sorry, I should have gotten directly to your question rather than reminiscing about 616, which the election that never ends.
Right.
They said that, one, there's a precedent for this. The DNC filed suit against Nixon's reelection campaign. I think it was 1973, seeking damages for the break-in at the Watergate at their headquarters.
Uh-huh.
And as it was paid out, it was the Library of Congress found this for us. I think it was $775,000 settlement in 1974.
Whoa.
And it was like either right as or after Nixon was leaving office. So there's one precedent. Now, if you ask the DNC lawyers about this, so what do you have to go on? What reason do you believe this would be successful? They tell you, well, there's not a lot of case law on this. It's that one suit, and then that's it. Well, okay, how much money do you want? Going to leave that to the judge, although it says this in the suit, and they think that the damages are in excess of the millions of dollars. They also cite some intangibles like death threats that were filed against staff.
Right.
So it's a little out there. Can you go after Russian nationals for something like this? Probably not. That's going to be a lot harder. You don't. This is a civil suit, not a criminal suit. But the Trump reelection campaign, and now so we have, to be fair here, the Trump campaign says there's absolutely no merit to this. I don't think they use the term fake news, but I'm sure they would say that.
They could call it a witch hunt. Except that phrase has been maybe overused.